Welcome to UK Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yukai Kechidori.
Awesome. Welcome back to another very special episode here on Yokai Business Show. We are so delighted that you would take time to listen to the conversations we are having here. And as always, today is no different. We bring you some of the finest business owners, experts, consultants, and coaches on the show so that they can help you move your business from where it is to where you want to be. In fact, my guest today is going to share with you what is actually working today. Not what used to work 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or even 2 years ago, but what is working today. In fact, that's one of the beauty of these episodes is because we are constantly looking for amazing people that are making huge headway in the world of business, helping people do what they want to do and doing it in style. And today is no different. My guest is going to share with you exactly the step-by-step process of achieving what you want to achieve today. Now, before I introduce our guest here, can I remind you to make sure you are participating in the community. There is a link below this recording here where you will be able to join if you are not yet part of the community, or if you are part of the community, you'll be redirected so you can join and join the conversation that is going. Remember, these conversations, they may be simple, they may lead to a different end goal. In fact, they could change the whole trajectory of your business or even your life. So I highly, highly encourage you to be part of the community. Let's come back to our guest. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're so delighted. I know how busy your schedule is, but for you to take time out of your schedule and be generous with your knowledge, it truly is an honor of mine. Thanks again for joining us here. Now, to get us started, for those who don't know you, or maybe haven't come across the work that you do, would you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background, your education, and your experience in this area? Primarily, some of the things that you have done for other people, like business owners in our community. And maybe while you're at it, you could talk about whether you have been an overnight success. I say that with a tongue in cheek because I know there isn't anything of overnight success. If you haven't, what sort of things you've had to do to become an expert in this area.
My path to where I am today professionally actually started over 20 years ago. And for me, it started with a pretty significant mental health crisis. I was really experiencing a crippling amount of depression at that point in my life. Anxiety was something that I had dealt with also. But at the particular crystallizing moment when the seeds were planted for the flower that I tend in business today, was a period of time when depression was really operating heavily in my life. I was unable to get out of bed. Many days I was missing quite a bit of work. And I ended up going in and getting some therapy. And one of the first questions that my therapist asked was, do you exercise? And I said, off and on, I used to, but I don't feel well enough right now. And she tasked me with getting back to that. And that ended up being, for all of the rest of my life, my number one skill in managing my mental health was exercise. And what making that connection did for me was help me begin to understand that I have control over my outcomes, that I am not just like some leaf that has fallen on the surface of life's river and I'm going to be swept down and bounced off the banks and dunked under the water and possibly eaten by fish. That I actually am the leaf, yes, but I am also the water, and I am the banks, and I am the fish, and all of these things are me. And this level of control that's available to me in how I am experiencing my life is really profound. And that was the moment that this profession crystallized for me. I began as a health and fitness coach because for me, health and fitness was the entry point to this beautiful realm of understanding that I am the creator of my reality. And I spent a good number of years in health and fitness coaching. And then that evolved along with my personal evolution into the style of coaching that I do today, where I work very exclusively with professional women, driven women who are very focused on their success, who have created success, but who also still are struggling with this feeling of having something inside that's missing. My own personal evolution is mirrored in my professional evolution because I also created this beautiful, successful looking exterior, this beautiful, successful business in health and fitness coaching. I actually added a second business to that with some holistic health products. And what I did was push myself in the pursuit of these external measures of success into burnout. And I actually worked myself ill. It is my hope that I can catch a lot of other professional women before they get to that point where they are forced to accept that what they're doing is not working by a health crisis, or what my friend Jen Mons calls a soul upgrade, which sounds so much better. But I will tell you that it doesn't matter what you call it. In the moment, it doesn't feel good at all to be in that place where you can actually no longer do what you had always done. And that's exactly what happened to me. Is I was unable to continue doing the things. Like, I literally was physically unable to continue pushing the way that I was pushing, to continue aligning with the values that didn't match mine in the way that I had been doing, because I literally physically exhausted myself. And in that space that I was forced into, where I had no choice but to rest, I had to do a lot of introspection. I got to do a lot of introspection. I was presented with the opportunity to really look inside and figure out not only what are my values and what is important to me, but what are my gifts? What is my dharma? What is the way that I'm here to serve? And as I answered those questions, my business evolved along with that. I do have an educational background. My degree is in kinesiology, but I had a focus in psychology and in behavior change. And I've done a lot of study of behavior change over the years. A lot of my professional experience does come from on the job, from getting results for myself and for my clients. But this has been more than a 20-year process. So to answer the question, was I an overnight success? The answer to that is no. Absolutely not. This process, this beautiful evolution that I have been through and that it's been paralleled in my business, has been exactly what I needed it to be. And it informs this beautiful container that I'm able to work with clients in, so that they too can figure out exactly where they need to be and exactly how they want to be showing up in their business and in the world.
That's brilliant, and thanks for covering that. Now we want to dive deep into talking about the very first step that business owners, those that may be starting from scratch, or those who are looking to reinvent themselves, ought to take to ensure success. And maybe we could talk about the best way for them to take these steps, and if there are any tools or apps they can use to make this very first step easier moving forward. And if we have got enough time, maybe we could just cover a little bit about what they can do to get unstuck in the event that they go stuck on this very first step.
What a beautiful question. Thank you so much for asking that. I think one of the most important things to remember, whether you're starting a new business or even if you have an existing business, but things are not working and you're realizing that a reimagining needs to happen in your business. one of the key things to remember is that you and your business are not really separate entities. Your business is a reflection of who you are in this moment, and it should be a vehicle for you to be expressing your highest values and your greatest gifts. And in doing that, your business should be a vehicle for you to be living the life that you want to be living. So that interconnection between you as an individual and your business as an entity is really important to understand. There really is not a separation there. And if you have created a business or you are planning on creating a business that does have that separation, where the business is not reflecting who you are at the deepest level and also at the highest level of the best and greatest good that you can do in the world, the highest service that you can be of in this world, you're going to feel that disconnection. There's always going to be this, whatever the business framing of cognitive dissonance would be. Economic dissonance, business dissonance, I don't know what we would call it, but whatever that would be, there will always be this conflict. If your business is stuck and you have looked at the typical business things and you're not finding the answer, I guarantee you the answer is inside of you. It's that you're stuck. It's that it's time for you to evolve. And when you are willing to do that, when you find the skills that you need to do that, then your business can evolve alongside you, because that's how it works. Your business is always an expression of you. So for those who are just getting started, one of the most important things that you can do, and this is a very quick process, we're talking 30 minutes or less, is identify your core values. You can find a core values assessment on the internet. You can find a core values assessment, a really extensive core values assessment on my website. I am especially fond of my core values assessment, naturally, not just because it's mine, but because it includes a step that you often don't find in a core values assessment, which is putting your core values into short sentences that include verbs. And I really like that step because I think it helps us to understand what it feels like to actually act in and live in alignment with these core values versus just having this list of words on a piece of paper. Do your core values assessment. Understand that this is the heart of who you are, that anything that you do that is in conflict with these values is going to feel bad. It's going to feel unfulfilling. It's going to feel frustrating and forced and difficult. And then ask yourself, how can I reflect these values through my business? How can my business's values, which your business's core values may not be identical to your core values, but they should be complementary. So you can do the same process for your business. And if you haven't really fleshed out or chosen exactly what your business looks like yet, then maybe this might happen a little bit later. And again, if we're talking right now to business owners who have an established business, but they're realizing that something needs to be reworked, this is a great place to come back to. Do your own core values, set up your business's core values, and look at how those things are related to one another.
That's awesome. Thanks. I love how you've simplified things there, and I can see how anybody, pretty much anybody, can apply that step. Now, with that same mindset, let's dive deep and talk about the next step or the second step that they ought to take. And how perhaps we could look at how they can implement this step right now, not later on, but right now in their lives today.
Second step, without question, make friends with failure. We have this idea that failure is the opposite of success, but that is a total lie. Failure is the foundation of success. The more enthusiastically you can engage with failure, the faster you can create amazing outcomes in yourself and in your business. Remembering that those two things are related. moving out of a fear of failure, adopting this mindset that in failure is where we learn what works. In doing what doesn't work, we create the opportunity to figure out what does work. Make friends with failure as soon as you can. If you don't yet have a business, make friends with failure now before you start your business. If your business is struggling, look at the places where you are afraid to try and fail, and then rush face first into failure in those areas. Fail, evaluate, try again. Fail, evaluate, try again. That is the spacing out on the word. That is the formula. That's the word. That is the formula for success. We try, we fail, we evaluate, we try again. And every time we try again, we're coming at this attempt with a little bit more knowledge. That's really what a failure is. It's a piece of knowledge. Something didn't work. Now I know more to inform me about what will work. And the secret to making friends with failure is actually being willing to be uncomfortable. So beneath our fear of failure is a resistance to being uncomfortable. We don't want to look bad. We don't want people to judge us. We don't want to feel uncomfortable emotions like guilt or shame, embarrassment. We don't want to feel like we let people down. So all of these uncomfortable emotional experiences that we associate with failure are what keeps us from being willing to fail. So there's two pieces to this. The first one is the mindset shift, that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. And the second part is this willingness to be uncomfortable. When you're willing to be uncomfortable, there's nothing that you can't access. There's nothing that you can't have or do or create. One of my favorite coaches, Stacey Bayman, often says, if you're willing to feel any emotion, you can create any result. So that's very true here. If you're willing to face the discomfort of failing, you can create any outcome for yourself and your business. How do we get comfortable being uncomfortable? 2 steps. I'll give you 2 tips. Very quick and easy. The first one is, think about this question. Have you ever been uncomfortable before? How uncomfortable have you been? Really, really uncomfortable? Yes, I'm assuming so. Now quickly check your pulse. Your heart is still beating. Guess what? You are already capable of being uncomfortable. We have proof, because if you weren't, you would be dead now. So you're capable already of being uncomfortable. If you would like to hone that skill, look for opportunities to intentionally choose being uncomfortable. And this can look like things like taking a cold rinse after your shower in the morning. It can look like tuning in to something that you have an opportunity to do that feels uncomfortable to you. Maybe you have an opportunity to make a presentation or to step into a partnership or to do something else in your business that feels really uncomfortable. And so just hop in, specifically to practice being uncomfortable. Say things out loud that normally you would keep inside because it's uncomfortable to say them. Do karaoke, go to an open mic night, whatever. Just choose discomfort. And then when you do the uncomfortable thing, just see yourself. Here I am. I'm doing something uncomfortable. It's maybe hard, but it's okay. I'm doing it. I'm fine. I'm coming out the other side. And the more you do that, the better you get at realizing, yeah, I am totally capable of being uncomfortable, which means I'm totally capable of failing, which means I am eminently capable of creating success.
Wow, this is incredible. I love how you're simplifying these secrets, these systems, and these steps for everybody to apply today. Now, before we jump on to talk about the third steps, I want to talk to Bill in our audience today and anybody listening for that matter. Remember what we always talk about on this show, never to leave a place of discovery without scheduling when you're going to apply what you're learning today. The reason for that is if we don't schedule it, we will not do it. So I'm hoping that you are scheduling mentally if you're out on the run or maybe you're driving your car or whatever you may be doing. Just make a mental note. When are you going to apply one of the steps that you have learned today? And because it is so small or very simple, that doesn't mean it's not going to bring tremendous results. Remember, it is the small hinges on a door that swings massive doors. So it will be just one of these amazing steps we are learning today that could open incredible opportunities for you. Well, let's go back and talk about that very third step. And maybe we could talk about it from a place where somebody has tried it and they have failed and they're feeling like they cannot do it anymore or they cannot start again anymore, and they're stuck. How can they get started again?
Ooh, so good. Thank you for that call to action. One of my favorite sayings is action is magic. So that's such an important point. It doesn't matter how many podcasts you listen to or how many books by great leaders you read. If you're not going to take any action with the things that you're learning, you're not going to experience any change in your world. So thank you for that really powerful reminder that the magic is really in the action. I want to give you one of my favorite tools at this point in time. Really a lovely tool for when you are feeling stuck, when you feel like you've tried, it isn't working, and you're not sure where to go next. A lot of times what's missing there is a really simple evaluation. And this is my go-to evaluation. This is the one that I use in my business. It's the one that I teach my clients. It is short, it is simple, but it is profound. So it's 3 questions. The first question is, what worked? The second question is, what didn't? And the third question is, what will I do differently next time? And that's the whole evaluation. What worked? What didn't? What will I change? When you complete the first part, what worked, you are creating an opportunity for yourself to recognize and celebrate. So take that time. Even if there's only a couple of things that worked, really settle into your gratitude for those things. Recognize how your strengths are reflected in those things that worked. When you look at what didn't work, now you're informing the answer to the third question. What am I going to do differently next time? And it doesn't matter how many things didn't work, they can all be adjusted and changed. Remember, failure is what informs us about what might work better next time. So you can have a massive list of things that didn't work. Be excited about that, because that's a massive list of things that you can try changing to get a different result. And that's a really powerful place to be. So from your list of the things that didn't work, make a list of things you could do differently next time. And then show a little restraint, my friends, and choose just one of those things. Maybe 2 if we're talking very small things. So if you're on your list, you have small things like, I need to update my scheduling app, or I need to update my voicemail message. Well, okay, you can do 2 or 3 of those things. But when you have a big change, just make 1 of those big changes. Little things you can do a couple of, but if you're talking about a massive shift in how you approach something, you're going to do a totally different software, you're going to scrap something and start over, you're going to reassign this task or this project to a different member of your team, only do 1 thing on that level at a time. And then after the next attempt where you've made that change, do your evaluation again. If the thing that you addressed that didn't work last time, you made a change, if that has moved up to the what worked area, if it's in the what worked column, great, move on to something else. Or stick with that same thing and try something different. But this little 3-question evaluation is the best unsticker that you could use in your business. If you're not regularly evaluating things, you're going to get stuck. So just get in the habit of evaluating often yourself, your projects, your team, your customer interactions, your production, if you're making actual products. Always be evaluating, because that's where you're going to gather the information about getting better and better and better.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you again for that. This is incredible. Let's talk about the tools, because in my own experience, I've discovered that there are amazing tools out there that simplify the whole process. In your experience, based on what you know and helping many people in this area, are there specific tools that you recommend that business owners can apply today? And if their website, maybe you could mention those ones so that people can go there straight away and find this content to help them become what they want to be and reach those goals here today.
2 thoughts in response to that. The first one is be open to taking any and all evaluations. And I'm talking things like the Myers-Briggs or human design type or gene keys, even things that are not scientifically backed, like love languages or appreciation languages or apology languages, Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies, all of these evaluative pieces that help us understand not only how do we work and interact with the world, but also how do our team members work and interact with the world and with each other. I have found this particular kind of information to be immensely beneficial. Again, in that interplay between self and business, and also in relation to creating a really cohesive team that understands each other and that work well together. There are a lot of these that are designed for the workplace. The DISC, D-I-S-C, is another one of those. So you can find those by searching on the web, talking to people that you know in your industry or in business, and even in other areas. So things like human design, you're going to find things like that kind of more in the astrology realm. So it feels very woo-woo, but I guarantee you will never do an evaluation like this that doesn't deepen your understanding of yourself and how you best operate, which is really powerful information when we're in business. The second thing I'm going to offer you is an unabashedly biased opinion that a business owner needs a coach. And I say that because of that relationship between who you are as a human and what your business is as an entity. Because of the total lack of separation between those two things, coaching is an invaluable tool for business owners. My own coach often says to me, you can't read the label from inside of the jar. And that's so profound. No matter how self-aware you are, no matter how many times you evaluate yourself, no matter how much work you do to be a present and mindful and powerful leader in your business, whether you are a solopreneur or the CEO of an enormous company, you are still inside of your jar. And there are things you can't see from in there. So having the reflective surface of a coach is so immensely powerful. Having a neutral space where you can process out loud, where you can think, where you can be seen, where you feel safe and free to make mistakes. Someplace where the person on the other end of the phone has zero interests, beyond you being the best you that you can be, and you getting to the reality that you want to be living in, including having the business that you want to be running, is immensely powerful for business owners.
Thank you. I'm certainly going to check out one of those tools myself. If not, my team will be checking that out, because I think tools simplify life for busy people like you and I, and I'm sure Bill in our audience will be doing the same thing. Now, moving on, I've discovered personally in my own journey as an entrepreneur that mindset plays a huge part in any area that you go into. In your opinion, having helped hundreds of people again, what sort of mindset that, to a certain degree, virtually guarantees success in applying these very steps we've been talking about?
Well, now you know that the coach loves it when you ask questions about mindset. Mindset is the underpinning to everything. What you are thinking in your mind, what you believe in your mind, is literally the seed that grows your reality. I call it the bear formula. Beliefs or thoughts or mindset, right, lead to emotions, lead to actions, lead to results. BEAR. So that mindset, those belief structures, are the first step in the chain reaction that are creating your results on every level, personally and in business. So in terms of the best mindset that you could have, I would say it's abundance. It's an understanding that we live in an inherently abundant universe. There is enough. Always. There is enough time. There is enough money. There are enough skills. There is a need. There is enough need for what you offer in the world. There is enough. When we're in an abundant mindset, we are calm. We are peaceful. We are solutions focused. We are trusting. We are surrendered. And when we're not in an abundance mindset, the opposite of all of those things are true. When we're in a mindset of lack, we are anxious. We are panicked. We are grasping. We are competitive in an unhealthy fashion. So the mindset of abundance allows us to relax, to be open and curious, and again, solutions focused. Be abundant. That would be my advice to you.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And now, as we come toward the end of our time together here, and I know we have covered a great deal of information and strategies and steps that anybody can apply today, especially Bill in the audience here today. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about how to get started and how to do this very well that you would love to share with everybody before we wrap up?
There is. Thank you so much for asking. I would love to remind everybody that when you are in alignment, and that means in alignment with your values, it means in alignment with your skills, with your gifts, life feels pretty easy. And that doesn't mean that we don't feel uncomfortable emotions when we're in alignment. It doesn't mean that we don't face challenges. It doesn't mean that there aren't things that need to be overcome or that need to be learned or that need to be changed. What it means is that all of your experiences feel free of struggle. So when you find those places where there's something that you need to overcome, you can come into that space in peace, in comfort, understanding that overcoming is part of life, rather than coming at that from a sense of resistance. This isn't fair. I shouldn't have to do this. This is so hard. If you are feeling full of struggle, I would offer that something is out of alignment for you. And maybe that's in your mindset, like we were just talking about a minute ago. Or maybe it's in how your work relates to your values, or how your spending in your business or personally relates to your values. Maybe it's in how you're investing your time or the people that you're surrounded with. But if your life feels struggly, if everything that you do, if everything that you create feels like forcing a square peg through a round hole, something is out of alignment for you. And if you can get back into alignment, all of that struggle just falls away. And that's one of the ways that we know that we're right pathed. When you are on your path, when you are in alignment with yourself, your values, and your highest good, your best way of serving in this world, there's not a lot of struggle. And I think that's an important thing to recognize. So thank you again for asking that question.
Absolutely outstanding. Thank you so much for such a great interview and for your generosity in sharing what is working in your life today and what is working in other people's lives today with my audience here today. And would you share with everybody how they can connect with you? Maybe it's your website or even it's your social media, because I know there will be people in the community here that would love to learn further and can carry on from what we have started talking about here today. So please give everybody the best way to connect with you today.
Absolutely. My website address is drops, DROPS, with Deb.com. And I actually am in the process of refining my brand a little bit. So there's going to be some changes coming to the website in the next several months. But at the moment, you're going to find a link right there on the homepage where you can schedule a free talk with me. So that's a really valuable asset that you can access at any point in time. Down towards the bottom of that homepage, there are links to podcasts that I have been on. And there are also some great free resources. That's where you're going to find that core values assessment that we talked about earlier. There is a burnout tool there. There is a tool about boundaries there. So there's lots of great free resources there. You can obviously learn more about me there as well, and more about just about coaching in general on that website. You can also find me all over social media at that same handle, Drops with Deb. So I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. I'm in most of the places, and my handle is always Drops, DROPS, with, spelled out, WITHDEB. That's me, Deb.
This has been outstanding, and I cannot thank you enough for your generosity and how you've been so selfless in helping people with the right steps they need to take today. Would you share with those listening here that are not yet participating in the community, Yokai Business community, how you're going to be helping them in there? I know there will be people with questions that will be looking for real answers and solutions, maybe services or products from you. And by the way, before you do that, I want to remind everybody that at the bottom of this recording, there will be a link that you can click on it and you'll be taken directly into our community where there is a lot of activities going on there. Many different guests that we've had are already participating in there. They're helping people with the questions and answers that they may have right now. So, and again, thank you for helping me on this mission of helping the business owners in our community thrive. And as we always say, when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. And I know you've been our great teacher here today for so many people. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is yet to come.
Thank you for listening to Yukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.